bright red hair now, but growing up, it was really red. Even orange, maybe, which earned me the nickname that my fellow minority members may know very well, Fire Crotch. And kids can be so mean. And so then I grew up and I started dating, and I was dating a tall, dark, and handsome man named Zach, and he was long distance. And so I decided to do something for him because he was coming to visit me finally. We hadn't seen each other in a number of months, and I wanted to do something really special for him. And so I was going to get my very first Brazilian. And so I went to a place that my coworkers told me about, and if anyone has ever gotten one before, you can know that you're in some compromising positions with a stranger, but lo and behold, the hair was finally gone. And so a few days later, things started feeling a little bit weird down there. And then they got itchy. Like really itchy. Like need to hump a cactus, itchy. I could not get any relief. I was taking 3 Benadryls to go to sleep. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't concentrate. My crotch was actually on fire. And what it looked like was bright red and swollen. Swollen is really not the word. My labia had puffed up to the size of men's balls. So I'm like a week away from Zach visiting, and I have a pseudo-scrotum. But I have to maintain some sort of normalcy, so I go to night shift. I'm a nurse. And I go, I'm commando, of course, because I can't wear underwear comfortably. And I'm walking on the unit, and my coworker's like, Allie, why are you walking like that? And I'm like, walking like what? She's like, you just rode a horse. So I told her what happened, and then 20 minutes later, I'm like charting on a computer in the nursing station, and I hear, where's Allison? And the girl who I just told the story to goes, oh, right there, the girl over there sitting on the ice pack. And so I swivel around, and it was one of the doctors that we work with, and he was like, oh, she paged me with an urgent staff medical request. So this doesn't happen very often, and I'm definitely sure that it is illegal. So I told him, but my coworkers were really concerned about me. And so I told him what happened. I had a Brazilian incident, and he said that being an oncologist, this was not his strong suit, but that he would do some research. And so he went to the computer, and then he came back, and he said that he felt that I had cellulitis. And so cue the laughter from my medical colleagues, who then I was beginning to realize that maybe they were about 10% concerned, and this was about 90% excitement for them and humiliation. And because cellulitis is infection of dirty skin. And so I'm telling him there's no way that's what it is. I don't think it is. But he says that he'll write me a script for an antibiotic. And then he says, but I would feel much more comfortable if I could just take a look. So let me just remind you that I am at my place of employment. It may actually, I collaborate with this man on rounds. It may help you to imagine you at your place of employment, and what's about to happen to me happen to you at your place of employment. So my coworker grabs me and pulls me outside of an empty patient room. Someone else takes care of my patients, and the doc goes in, slips on gloves, and steps inside. And I'm standing outside. I'm like, I cannot do this. But then I realize that I have this like throbbing itching between my legs, and I'm like, maybe this will just give me some damn relief. So I go in the room, and I lie down on the empty patient bed. And so when my coworkers come in, so there's like a nurse here, a nurse there, a doctor here, 2 nurses there. And so I'm lying there, and then I slowly pull my pants down. And they all kind of lean in. And then the doctor takes my knees and pulls my legs apart. And so I'm there, spread eagle, for everyone to see. And this is when I knew that it was really bad, because there was no giggle, there was no laughter, there was just a touch on the shoulder, and then, oh, And so he poked and prodded, and he said, I guess we're done here, you can pull your pants up. And so he gave me a script for an antibiotic. I wish I could tell you that made it better. It did not, it made it worse. So the next day I had to go to the gynecologist, and that was the day that Zach was arriving. And the gynecologist told me that that was the worst allergic reaction to any vagina in her entire career. So she sent me home with topical and oral steroids. And so Zach arrives, and mind you, this is long distance from Malaysia. And so he is like, oh, I just, I've been on the plane for 5 days. I'm so excited to see you. I can't wait to be with you, blah, blah, blah. He's so touchy-feely, and I'm all, how about we just talk? And so I had to tell him that I had an incident with shaving and that everything downstairs was off limits. And so soon my skin did begin to resemble its old self, just in time to see Zach get on a plane and go home. And so, that was my very first and my very last Brazilian incident. I just have to embrace my redhead tendencies and know that I have some very sensitive skin. And you know what? I really don't mind the nickname Fire Crotch anymore, because as long as I don't have to bare my genitals to a room full of my colleagues, you can call me whatever you want. And speaking of my colleagues, back then I really just thought, this whole incident is behind me, but I really don't want to think about it ever again. I'm sure no one else remembers either. And so then I'm on the unit, like a year later, and that doctor's there, and I'm like around the corner, and one of my coworkers, she's a nurse, and she asked him to look at her toe because she thought something was wrong with it. And I come around, I come closer, and I hear her say, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And I come into full view with him, and I look down at him. He looks up, and he says, could be worse.